It is time for Hamilton Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online. Tonight, the regular season finale as the 12th-ranked Royals host the Wildcats of Lawrence North, all coming up on ASL. I'm Brian Scott. Thanks for joining me tonight and all season long here for Royals basketball as we wrap up the regular season and head into sectional play beginning next week. Senior night here at Hamilton Southeastern High School with 7 seniors being recognized before tonight's game. Those seniors were Jack Davidson, Jack Hebiger, Austin Holtzum, Aaron Shank, Connor Rotterman, Zach Muchner, and, of course, now Hamilton Southeastern's all-time leading scorer, Zach Gunn, all playing their final game here at Hamilton Southeastern at home tonight. But the season's not quite over yet. They hope they have more basketball to play because sectionals begin next week, and the Royals will be in Carmel, and they will be taking on what really is now longtime rival when you think about it, Hamilton Southeastern and Fishers. This has now been going on for over a decade, so I guess we can call it a longtime rivalry, and that is who Hamilton Southeastern drew to begin sectional play, the Fishers Tigers. And Hamilton Southeastern, they're coming off of a loss last Saturday, which kind of, it was really a gut-buster from two different points of view. Southeastern played Brownsburg last Friday, falling to the Bulldogs by the score of 61-54. That in itself was, it was not a really pretty sight for Hamilton Southeastern fans as the Royals really could not find their shot all game long. They finished with 25% from the field, hitting 15 of 60 on the night, and then it didn't get much better. The Royals, 5 of 22 from beyond the arc. They did shoot decently from the free throw line, but really it was a very poor shooting night. The Royals just seemed to be off all night long. They have had some issues with some, a nasty bug that's been going around the school lately, and they just seem to be a little slow, sluggish, and off last Friday night against Brownsburg, falling to the Bulldogs 61-54. Zach Gunn finished with 26 points, but half of those points came from the free throw line. He scored 13 of 15 from the free throw line. Connor Rotterman finished with 10 points, but that was on 2 of 14 shooting. So, as I mentioned, when you shoot only 25% from the field compared to Brownsburg, who shot 46% from the field, led by Cameron Alford's 25 points. It was just an off night for Hamilton Southeastern, and even though they even got totally out-rebounded in that game, 42-36. So an off night for the Royals, and what really hurt Hamilton Southeastern was a win against Brownsburg. They were hoping Fishers could help them out because a win by the Tigers would have meant that Hamilton Southeastern would be co-HCC champions. Well, the Tigers did their business. They beat Zionsville in overtime last Friday night as they defeated the Eagles 69-60. So the Royals, with a win at Brownsburg, would have been co-HCC champs, but instead they will be in second place. But now they look to head into sectional play on Tuesday with a bit of momentum when they take on the Tigers of Lawrence North. Lawrence North coming in off of a win. They defeated Howe on Tuesday 92-65 as the Wildcats are now 15-8 on the season. Of course, longtime head coach of the Wildcats is Jack Kiefer. He has been at Lawrence North for 41 of his 45 years, amassing a 697 and 284 record, and simply outstanding. And then we also look at some of the accomplishments that the Wildcats have had over the years. You can count state titles, you can count regional titles, of course, many sectional titles. They did not make the sectionals last year. They were bounced in that first round last year, but the year before that, once again, sectional champions. And this year, they're going to be in a very, very tough sectional, as they're going to be in the same sectional with both North Central and Warren Central. In fact, it is Warren Central who the Wildcats drew in their sectional opener. We'll talk more about sectionals at the half. But for Lawrence North, of course, 4 state titles, and especially that 3-year run, 2004, 2005, and 2006, when Kiefer's Wildcats won it all in Class 4A those 3 years. They are, again, coming off of a win. They have won their last 2 games. Meanwhile, Southeastern saw their 4-game winning streak snapped with a loss to Brownsburg. And Brian Satterfield, in his 16th year at the helm of the Royals, has a record of 257 and 116. And while he's been very successful, and this has been a very successful Hamilton Southeastern program, they have only 3 sectional titles to their credit. They'd like to change that coming up beginning next week when they go to Carmel and play in that sectional. If they can get past Fishers, then they've got a pretty good shot of making the sectional championship game on Saturday. Initially, when we looked at that sectional, we kind of thought it would be HSC and Carmel fighting out for the sectional championship. But right now, Fishers probably could give Hamilton Southeastern a run. Again, we'll be talking about that at halftime. But if it comes down to HSC and Carmel again, well, of course, it was just a couple of weeks ago that the Royals blew out Carmel on their home gym court, and they would be looking to do maybe that again. But first things first, got to get through tonight, and then we'll have sectionals beginning on Tuesday. The JV team finished up a little earlier. They finished the season on a winning note by the score of 48-39. Chris Grubbs getting his first action in probably a couple of months. He scored 13 points in that game, 10 points for Matt Harris. And when we looked at what Coach Dave Merricka's JV Royals have done all season, Coach Satterfield's got to be pleased that he's going to be replacing some of these seniors that graduate this season with some very talented players. First and foremost, the 7'2" freshman Mabor Majak. He will likely be on the varsity level, and while he still has some growth to go and work to do in his offensive game, we've watched him all season grow, especially defensively. A very good rim protector, very good defensively at times, and a very good free throw shooter. And before we talk any more about what we might expect coming up, let's have our national anthem.
Especially those who gave their lives for our country. The American Sign Language Club will be signing tonight's anthem, which will be performed by your Hamilton Southeastern Pep Band. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
It is the Hamilton Southeastern Pep Band with our national anthem as we're getting ready for basketball. The final regular season game of the season for both these teams. I'm Brian Scott. Thanks for joining me for Royals Basketball and Audio Sports Online. We were talking a little bit about the JV Royals. They had a big win, 48-39 over the Wildcats preceding this game. And when we take a look at some of the players, of course, we've seen a couple of them, especially Nick Bowman, who started on the JV level at the beginning of the season. He has now made his way to varsity. But Chris Grubbs is a player that looks very similar to a Zach Gunn. He can definitely score the basketball, a good slasher, very good three-point shooter, and he is a guy that will be a sophomore next year. And I'm sure we'll likely see some minutes, especially at the varsity level, because the Royals will be looking to replace that shooting touch of Zach Gunn next season. They'll also be looking for a good point guard. Jack Davidson will be graduating. Nick Bowman and Josh Fugate will be among those that will probably be in the mix to take over at the point next season. And then when we start looking at shooting guards, we saw sophomore Matt Harris have some good moments at the JV level. DeLind Hooks was playing as a 3. We could probably see him also work out a little bit as a 2 guard. And one of the things you just never know between one season and the next is how much some of these kids are going to grow. That we'll just have to wait and see. But the JV squad had a very good season for Coach Dave Merica, and there's several players that will likely see play some prominent roles for the Royals come next season when they get the 2017-2018 campaign underway. But we still have some work to do here in this season, and both teams are now on the court, and we are getting ready to give you starting lineups and get this basketball game underway. Hamilton Southeastern, off of the loss, still ranked 12th in Class 4A after that loss to Brownsburg. And like I said, we saw a lot of just a Royals team last week that was very sluggish. There has been a bug that's been going through the school district. I'm sure many of you parents that are watching tonight are well aware of it. And the Royals just seemed to be a little bit off last week. Aaron Etherington had missed 2 games due to a bug. And while he's not going to get the start tonight, it's not going to be because of the bug. It's because it is senior night, and Coach Brian Satterfield will be starting 5 seniors in their final home game here at Hamilton Southeastern High School. But the Royals were a little bit off against the Bulldogs last Friday night. The Bulldogs played an outstanding basketball game, and you just saw a difference in energy level. And whether that was due to a passing foo bug or simply it was just not Hamilton Southeastern's night, they hope to bounce back tonight and head into sectional play on a good note. So with that being said, let's go ahead and give you starting lineups for tonight's basketball game. First, for the visiting Lawrence North Wildcats, as I mentioned, their head coach, longtime head coach, very distinguished career, is Jack Kiefer. He has been coaching for 45 years, 41 of them at the helm of the Wildcats. He has a record of 697 and 284 with Lawrence North alone, and a 758 and 310 record in his 45th year coaching. The Wildcats are coming off of a victory against Howe on Tuesday, 92-65. They've won their last 2. And the starting lineup for the Wildcats tonight, starting at a guard, will actually be a 6-foot freshman, Mike Saunders at guard, a 5'10 junior, Antoine Cushingberry. At forward is a 6'4" sophomore, Dexter Schaus. The other forward, a 6'7 junior, Kevin Easley. And at center, a 6'9 senior, Ra Capetti. So once again, the backcourt is Cushingberry and Saunders, and the front court, Schaus, Easley, and Capetti. That is the starting lineup for the Lawrence North Wildcats, who come into tonight's game averaging a little over 61 points per game. They give up a little shy of 56 points per game. They've been a little up and down this season, as that 15-8 record would indicate. They lost 3 in a row before winning against Hamilton Heights, falling to Pike, and then they have beaten Fort Wayne South and Howe to wrap up the season here tonight with Southeastern. For Hamilton Southeastern, the head coach is Brian Satterfield in his 16th year at the helm of the Royals with a 257 and 116 record. Southeastern has a record of 18-5, and as I mentioned, they're ranked 12th in Class 4A. And the starting lineup for Hamilton Southeastern tonight, all seniors coming up on senior night. Starting at a guard is a 6-foot senior, Jack Habiger. At guard, a 6-foot senior, Jack Davidson. The other guard is a 6'1" senior, Connor Rotterman. At forward, a 6'4" senior, Zach Muchner. And the other forward is a 6'7" senior, Zach Gunn. So it's Davidson, Habiger, and Rotterman, the guards, Muchner and Gunn in the front court as the forwards. And that's the starting lineup for Hamilton Southeastern, who comes in averaging just shy of 72 points per game, giving up almost 60 points per game. The Royals, as they showed against the likes of Carmel and Pike, if they can get off to a good start and they do a good job of shooting the basketball, then they will do very, very well, because few teams can match up with them if the Royals get into a big scoring stretch. If they can't shoot the ball well, then they've had problems. So we're going to see how things fare as we get ready for basketball. The Lawrence North Wildcats are in their road green uniforms with white numerals and red trim, and Hamilton Southeastern are in the home whites with the royal blue numerals and royal blue trim. It'll be Zach Gunn jumping center against Ra Capetti when we get ready to tip this ball up. And it is, as I mentioned, the regular season finale here at Hamilton Southeastern. Sectionals begin Tuesday, and we'll get more into the sectionals coming up at halftime. So sit back, relax. We hope you'll enjoy tonight's regular season finale of Hamilton Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online. So Capetti and Gunn will jump center as the officials are ready. And we're about ready to tip this one off. Ball's in the air. Capetti controls the tip, and the Wildcats will have the basketball to begin this contest, and they will look over a man-to-man defense by Hamilton Southeastern as Cushingberry sends it left side to Schaus, and then they send it down into the corner, and they'll move the ball around. Easley sends it back out. They're trying to post up Capetti again at 6'9", down low. He's working against Zach Muchner, and Muchner is going to commit the foul. So Muchner with his first foul as they are strongly trying to get the big 6'9" Capetti working against Zach. And, of course, Zach at 6'4", but a shot left elbow extended is no good. Coming down with a rebound is Roderman. He gives it to Gunn, and Gunn finishes it off with a layup. So the Royals quickly get it up the court, and they get the first 2 points of this basketball game as we approach the 7-minute mark. They get it down low to Capetti. Double team comes. He tries to force it through. He won't get the bucket, but he is going to draw another foul. And this one goes against Jack Habiger, and that will send Capetti to the line. Capetti's first free throw rattles out. Again, at 6'9", he's going to have an advantage over probably everybody but Zach Gunn. Second free throw is good, and the first Wildcat points come from the free throw line. 2-1, Southeastern leads as we've played 60 seconds of this basketball game. Is Habiger with the basketball. Nice bounce pass, finds Davidson. Davidson wraps it to Muchner, out to Roderman. Three from the corner is good. Connor Roderman with a three. He had 10 points against the Bulldogs, but against Pike and Carmel, he had some very, very good games, and he starts off with a three to push the advantage to 4 at 5-1 with 6:30 left to go opening quarter. This is Easley with the basketball, and he'll send it up top to Schaus, and Schaus makes a move, and he's going to be called for traveling. So the turnover gives the ball back to Southeastern, up by 4 with 6:23. As Roderman will give it to Habiger, who will give it right back to Connor. Connor with the basketball, looks for Gunn, but finds Davidson. Three on the way is good. Deep three. And the Royals with a pair of threes push the lead out to 7 at 8-1. Like Saunders, and now we're going to have an offensive foul away from the basketball, as I believe they're going to get Ra Capetti. And Capetti working down low against Connor Roderman, pushed off. Coach Jack Kiefer not happy with that call, but it gives the ball back to Southeastern on the turnover. Here's Roderman. He stops, he pops, he hits. Roderman with 5, and Southeastern now on a 9-0 run. They lead 10-1. Almost stolen away as Easley with the basketball. He'll launch the three. That's off, and Roderman skies the rebound. Here comes Zach Gunn the other way. He'll put it up. He'll get the bucket and count it and send him to the line. Foul's going to be called against Capetti, and that's his second. And we're going to have a timeout called by the Wildcats. It's going to be a 30-second timeout, though it took them about 30 seconds to figure it out. Either way, 12-1 in favor of Hamilton Southeastern with 5:27 left to go in the first quarter. I'm Brian Scott. Welcome to Royals basketball on ASL. Good start for Hamilton Southeastern. Connor Rotterman with 5 points. So they've called the foul against Easley. So they have one foul against Capetti and one foul against Easley. And Gunn is going to go to the line. Zach did not have a good shooting night against Brownsburg, but he was excellent from the free throw line, hit a 13 of 15. He's shooting 82% from the charity stripe on the season. And he converts the three-point play. He joins Rotterman with 5 points, and the lead's 12 for Southeastern at 13-1 with 5:21 remaining, and Southeastern drops into the 2-2-1. Wildcats get it into the front court. They'll send it right side to Cushingberry. He'll send it back up top. They'll send it left side. 3-ball from Saunders on the way. No good. Rotterman with a rebound. Connor left side finds Davidson. 3 on the way. It's good. Davidson with a 3. The Royals have 3 3-point baskets in this first quarter, and they jump out to a 15-point lead at 16-1 with 4:50 left to go in the opening period of play. Wildcats looking for something. So far, they have just one free throw to account for scoring. Trying to drive, and they'll say it went off of Zach Gunn as Dexter Schaus made a baseline move. Schaus will depart, and entering the lineup will be Jared Hankins. 16-1, 40 left to go first quarter. And the Wildcats looking for something. Here is Hankins, who just entered the game. They'll send it right side, and the 3 is up by Antoine Cushionberry. So the Wildcats finally get a bucket from the field. It's a 3. Here's Gunn for 3, and he nailed it. So as poorly as the Royals shot against Brownsburg, they are white hot to begin this first quarter. And they lead 19-4. Here's a shot, free throw line, rattles around and finally drops for Kevin Easley. They'll make it 19-6 as we hit the midway point of the first quarter. And now the Wildcats will drop into a 2-3 zone. Now send it around to Davidson as Southeastern has hit 4 3-point baskets to count for 12 of the 19 points that are on the scoreboard for the Royals. Here's Davidson. Between the circles, left side, Rotterman open. He launches, it's no good. Rebound by Hankins. Wildcats bring it in the front court. They send it up to Capetti, and as Capetti gets it underneath the basket, he's going to be fouled. Zach Muchner with his second personal, third team. And substitutions, Aaron Shank and Austin Holtzum come in. 2 more seniors as Muchner will depart, as was Jack Habiger. So keeping all seniors on the court is Brian Satterfield. Here's a 3 on the way by Easley. His shot's no good, but he might be earning 3 free throws on a foul by Jack Davidson. And he will. Davidson with his first personal, 4th team foul, and at the free throw line is Kevin Easley shooting 3. And he hits the first of 3. Makes it a 12-point game at 19-7 with 3:27 left to go first quarter. 2 more free throws due to Easley. That one's no good. Dexter Schaus returns. He'll take over from Mike Saunders. 1 more free throw coming up for Easley. and he hits 2 out of 3. He has 4 points, and it's an 11-point lead for Southeastern with 3:24 left to go in the opening quarter. 19-8. Quickly up, teardrop floater. That's up and good by Connor Roderman. Roderman has 7, and it's a 21-8 Southeastern advantage. Left side to Schaus. They'll swing it back around to Hankins at the right wing. They'll get it down low to Capetti, and they'll have to send it up top. Hankins 3 deep from the top of the key. No good. Gunn gets the rebound. He'll give it to Roderman. Connor back to Gunn, back to Connor, and Connor travels. Wanted to make that little ball head fake move, but brought his feet with him, and he's called for steps with 2:50 left to go in the opening quarter. Southeastern leads 21-8. Roderman with 7. And Gunn with 8 for Southeastern. Driving, spinning, that's easily. His right-hander off the glass is up and good. He has 6 points, and it's back down to an 11-point lead for the Royals as we hit 2:30 left to go first quarter. Shank right side to Holtzum. They tried it, and then here's Easley with a steal. He will beat the Royals back to the other end of the court. And Easley now has 8, and it's down to a 9-point advantage. Holtzum in the corner. Now sends it back out. Here's Roderman. Thought about the 3 in the corner as the Wildcats drop back into the 2-3 zone. They switch out at the top. A lot of switching going on in this zone for the Wildcats as we are under 2 minutes left to play first quarter. Royals with a 21-12 lead. They'll find Gunn at the free throw line, out to Davidson. Long range 3, no good. And Capetti has it stolen away by Roderman. His shot at the free throw line, no good. But Roderman is going to earn a trip to the charity stripe as he's going to be fouled. And if it's against Capetti, that'll be his second. So Rock Capetti with his second, 13 foul, and Connor Roderman at the free throw line. Roderman, a 76% free throw shooter. He hits the first of 2. Jack Davidson leaves Noah Smith seeing his first action tonight. Also, Dalen Davis in for the Wildcats. Meanwhile, Connor's second free throw is good. He has 9 points. J.P. Carroll also coming in for Coach Jack Kiefer as the lead's back to 11 with 1:39 in the 2-2-1 press being employed by the Royals. Wildcats get it up front. This is Easley. Hands the ball off. Hankins sends it back to Easley. Easley in the lane. Right-hand runner. It's up and good. Kevin Easley is pretty much all the offense that the Wildcats can muster here in this first quarter as he has 10 points. Here's a 3, no good by Gunn. And we'll come back the other way. The Wildcats, Hankins sends it out to Easley. 3 on the way. That's good. So Kevin Easley is keeping the Wildcats at least within striking distance as the deficit's now been cut to 6, 23-17. Here's Gunn driving through the lane. Can't finish it off the rim. Ball's loose. Still loose, and we'll have a tie-up, and the possession arrow favors Nope, they got it. The Wildcats got a timeout as Dalen Davis managed to get the timeout called. They'll take a 30. That's their second 30-second timeout, so all they have left are 3 full timeouts for the remainder of this contest. Dalen Davis doing the damage for the Wildcats. He has 13 of the Wildcats' 17 points. Meanwhile, for Hamilton Southeastern, Zach Gunn has 8. Connor Roderman has 9, and Jack Davidson has a pair of 3s. And that's how we stand with 44.5 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Southeastern up 23-17. As the Wildcats will have the basketball, trailing by 6. They'll go left side to Schaus. He'll give it to Hankins. Back up top to Easley. Poked away by Shank. Royals have numbers. Here's Chaz Birchfield, who just came in, and Birchfield's going to be fouled. Dexter Schaus with his first, fourth team foul. And Chaz Birchfield, who just entered the contest, is at the free throw line. He misses the first free throw. Birchfield is 70% free throw shooter on the season, and Chaz has had some good games. He had a great start against Carmel, but foul difficulty kind of put a damper on that, and he sinks the second free throw to split them. He has his first points. It's a 7-point lead with 24 seconds remaining. Chaz got off to a great start, but had to sit early and limited his effectiveness against the Greyhounds, but the Royals came away with a 21-point blowout anyway. 10 seconds remain, 24-17, Royals with the lead. Here's Schaus. He drives, and he'll get the bucket. Dexter Schaus with the bucket. Three-quarter court shot by Austin Holtzman is no good, and that is the end of the first quarter of play. Hamilton Southeastern got off to a big lead. Watch the Wildcats battle back, but at the end of the first period, Southeastern leads 24-19. Second quarter action coming up. This is Royals basketball on ASO. Ready for second quarter action as the Hamilton Southeastern Royals lead the Wildcats of Lawrence North by the score of 24-19. And to begin the second quarter will be Noah Smith, Austin Holzman, Aaron Shank. Aaron Etherington in for the first time in over a week and a half. He played at the Carmel game and then got very sick. He missed the Pike and the Brownsburg games. He's out there, and this is Chaz Birchfield. Here's Etherington. He drives baseline, flips it up, doesn't get the bucket, and the rebound's controlled by Kevin Easley, who leads all scorers with 13 points. Driving is Hankins. Left it strong. Holtzman with a rebound and gives it to Noah Smith. Smith out to Etherington. Three on the way. That's off. Ball's tapped out and controlled by Easley of the Wildcats. Bounce pass left side. Shot blocked by Etherington on Schaus, but following it up is Kevin Easley. He has 15 points, and it's down to a one-possession game, 24-21. A three-point lead for Hamilton Southeastern. Is back to the zone go the Wildcats. Holtzman with the basketball. Right side, this is Aaron Shank. Just underway here in the second quarter. Southeastern has led by, I believe, 12. Now they've seen that the lead cut down to 3. Here's Etherington, bounce pass to Holtzman. Gets around to Etherington's screen. Thought about the shot, finds Shank. And Shank will back it up, back to Holtzman, over to Aaron Etherington. Etherington underneath, finds Noah Smith. Nice find. Smith finishes for his first 2 points, and that pushes the lead to 5 at 26-21 with 6:20 left to play in the first half. Here's Schaus. His shot no good, but he's going to earn a trip to the free throw line as he'll be fouled. The 15th foul against Hamilton Southeastern. And the first against Chaz Birchfield. And Dexter Schaus is at the line. Schaus has 2 points. He misses the free throw. Jack Davidson back in for Austin Holtzman. And Rock Capetti looks like he is going to check in. And he's going to give Kevin Easley a breather. Easley leaves with a game high so far, 15 points. Zach Gunn, though, is also going to check in. He'll have to wait, though, as Schaus splits the free throws. Gunn's back in, and Shank departs. 26-22. Royals with the basketball, and they'll look over the Wildcat version of a 2-2-1. And this one's going to be poked away by Schaus, and the Royals will have to start this all over again. 6:09 left to go. Second quarter, 26-22 Southeastern. As Davidson finds Gunn, and Gunn will get it up. He'll send it right side. Bounce pass by Aaron Etherington. He was trying to get Chaz Birchfield down the right side of the lane, but it's going to be knocked out of bounds by Dexter Schaus. It is Antoine Cushingberry, Dexter Schaus, Jared Hankins, Rock Capetti, and also on the court is Dalen Davis for the Wildcats. Davidson to Etherington, joined by Noah Smith, Chaz Birchfield, and Zach Gunn. Those are the five out there for Brian Satterfield. Under 6 minutes left to play, first half. Royals with a 4-point lead, 26-22. Here's Etherington at the free throw line, out to Davidson. Gets a man to commit. Misses the shot, but Birchfield gets the rebound. He'll send it to Etherington. And back to Davidson near the center jump circle. Birchfield back to Davidson, who has 2 3-point baskets. They feed down low. Birchfield finishes it off on the assist by Davidson. Birchfield has 3. And it's back to a 6-point advantage for Southeastern. They'll feed down low to Capetti, and he'll have the shot partially blocked, but Aaron Etherington's going to get Capetti on the hand. Capetti managed to finish off the shot. He'll get the bucket, and he's going to earn a chance for the 3-point play. Actually, they're going to call Zach Gunn for his first personal foul, 16 foul. Capetti at the line, where he has got 3 points now. He is 1 of 2 from the line. Capetti's shot on the free throw is good, as he has now 4 points, and it's a 3-point lead for Southeastern. As Davidson to Etherington to Gunn, right side to Rotterman, almost lost it, gathered it back up. Connor just now into the basketball game, out of the timeout. Here's Noah Smith, or after the dead ball, I should say. Smith with the basketball. 28-25. That's our score. 4:46 left to play in the first half. Gunn finds Smith, threw it low, but Noah's going to be able to chase it down, and Brian Satterfield's going to call a timeout. A full timeout. Royals use their first timeout of the ball game with 4:39 remaining in the first half. The Royals lead the Wildcats 28-25. Southeastern has 9 points from Connor Rotterman, 8 points for Zach Gunn. They were 4 of 5 from the free throw line in that first quarter, but they also hit 4 3-point baskets. And if not for the work of Kevin Easley by the Wildcats, they could find themselves in a world of hurt instead of just trailing by 3, as he scored 13 points in that first quarter, and he has 15 points currently in the game. But Southeastern also the beneficiary of 4 3-point baskets in that first quarter as well. They're led by 5 after the end of the first period. They lead by 3 with 4:39 left to go in quarter number 2. It'll be Davidson, Etherington, Rotterman, Gunn, and Smith on the court for Coach Brian Satterfield. It'll be Cushionberry, Saunders, Capetti, Easley, and Schaus. They're starting 5 for head coach Jack Kiefer, as the Royals have the basketball. They'll swing it around, looking at this 2-3 matchup zone as they switch off frequently. Gunn, right side to Rotterman. As the Royals move around, Davidson wide open 3. It's on its way, and he nailed it. Jack Davidson has 9, all of them from beyond the arc, and that extends the lead to 6. 31-25. as we approach the midway point of quarter number 2. Now the Royals will go into their own zone. They'll show a 2-3 zone as Saunders goes up top to Cushingberry. He'll lob it up. Gunn, though, is able to knock it away as they were trying to get Capetti. Here comes the Royals. Etherington thought about the 3, gives it to Davidson. 3 from the corner. That's good. Jack Davidson, his 4th 3-point basket. He has 12, and the lead's back to 9 at 34-25. Good job by Zach Gunn recognizing the alley-oop. He went up, got the basketball, got it away from Capetti, and the Royals converted the other end. Here's a little teardrop floater in the lane by Antoine Cushingberry. He now has 5 points, 34-27 Royals. Gunn, right side. This is Rotterman, back to Gunn. They'll find Noah Smith. Left elbow finds Aaron Etherington at the underneath. Good ball movement by Hamilton Southeastern leads to the easy bucket. Back to a 9-point advantage as we go under 3 minutes first half. 3-ball on the way from the wing by Schaus, no good. Smith with a rebound. Noah into the front court, bounce pass, trying to get it to Zach Gunn, poked away, but it will belong to Southeastern. Jaron Bond will come in for Coach Brian Satterfield as Noah Smith will depart. Smith leaves with 2 points. A 9-point Royal lead, 36-27. Davidson finds Bond, and Bond goes right side back to Jack. Left side now Rotterman. Rotterman to Etherington. Back to Bond, right side. Now they find Zach Gunn all alone in the corner, and Zach won't miss that. The Royals have hit 7 3-point baskets in this basketball game, and the lead's back to 12 with 2:30 remaining in the half. Very, very good ball movement by Hamilton Southeastern there as they swung it around the court, and they find a wide-open Zach Gunn. Here is a shot from the corner, and that goes over the backboard, and the ball will belong to Southeastern after a one-and-done by the Wildcats. Lawrence Northgood got it down to within 3, but now the Royals are back up by 12 with 2:12 remaining in the first half, and looking at a 2-2-1. There's Rotterman, pull-up jumper, right elbow, that's switched. Cotter with 11 as we hit 2 minutes left to go in the first half. 41-27 is our score. Southeastern with the lead. Back to a 2-3 zone by Hamilton Southeastern as Davidson works on Cushingberry. They'll send it left side. Down into the corner to Schaus, back up to Saunders. And now we have a traveling violation. As you can tell, Saunders wanted to get that ball back to Dexter Schaus back into the corner, but instead of passing the ball, he kind of drug his foot, and he's called for traveling. 41-27. Royals on a run. As we're going to have a palming violation by Connor Rotterman. He was trying to make a move and got the ball, the hand underneath the ball just a bit, and he's called for the violation, and the turnover gives the ball to the Wildcats, trailing 41-27 with 1:26 left to go in the half. Left side, this is Schaus. They find Easley, who sends it back to Cushingberry. His 3 is off and into the hands of Etherington, who finds Rotterman. Connor into the front court, finds Etherington, steps into a 3, and drilled it. Etherington with 5, and it's now a 44-27 advantage for Southeastern after the Wildcats got it down to within 3. Driving, here is the shot. It's up. It gets kind of a nice little delay off of the back iron as it hung there, but Mike Saunders does get the bucket. A 15-point lead for Southeastern with 40 seconds remaining. Davidson behind his back to Etherington. Davidson tries to bounce past it to Jaron Bond, and Bond kind of cut off by Antoine Cushingberry. Couldn't continue his cut baseline toward the hoop, and the ball goes out of bounds and will belong to the Wildcats. With 25 seconds remaining, we'll see if Coach Kiefer tries to play for the final shot of the quarter as the Wildcats trail by 15. driving and then sending it out. Schaus will launch the three from the left wing. That's long, but into the hands of Easley. 10 seconds remain. Saunders back to Easley. Three on its way and good. 18 points for Kevin Easley. Here's a half-court shot. Zach Gunn drills it. Zach Gunn drills the half-court shot as the buzzer goes off. And on senior night, the Royals' all-time leading scorer hits a big shot at the buzzer to send the Royals to the locker room at the half, leading Lawrence North by the score of 47-32. Check back in about 4 minutes. We're going to gather our stats, talk a little bit about sectionals and how the HCC finally wound down. This is Hamilton Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online. Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern High School at the half. The Royals lead the Wildcats of Lawrence North by the score of 47-32. We'll take a look at some halftime stats in just a moment, but let's talk about what's coming up next week. I'm Brian Scott. Thanks for joining me for Royals basketball on ASO. And, of course, we are talking about sectional play. We'll have the sectionals for you on Audio Sports Online beginning Tuesday night when the Royals take on the Fishers Tigers at 7 o'clock. We'll have all the sectional action for you on Audio Sports Online. Due to restrictions by the IHSAA, we are not allowed to provide video for those games. However, we will have audio for you, and that game will begin at 6 against the Fishers Tigers. Of course, the Tigers gave the Royals all they could handle and then some back on December 16th at the Indiana Farmers Coliseum during Mudsock Madness. It was a back-and-forth game. It went into double overtime before the Royals finally put away the Tigers with a victory 86-80. And as we head into sectional play, it's going to be very interesting in this Carmel sectional. For Hamilton Southeastern, they are the only team that beat all but Guerin Catholic. Every team that they played intersectionally, they won. Guerin Catholic, the only team they did not schedule, and Guerin Catholic only played one team in their section. That was Anderson. They actually defeated Anderson last week 63-56. Otherwise, Hamilton Southeastern beat everybody else in the sectional, including the sectional host Carmel Greyhounds. Of course, that was a big win a couple of weeks ago when Southeastern knocked off Carmel 72-51 in a game that really was never a contest. Southeastern jumped out to an early lead and really never looked back, and they went out to blow out the Greyhounds on their home court. When we started this sectional, we would probably think, well, it's a two-horse race between Hamilton Southeastern and Carmel, but Fishers has come along, and even though they have a record of 10-12, the Tigers have been playing pretty well, and of course they just knocked off Zionsville, a big game that I'm sure some of the Royals players and coaching staff kind of kicking themselves, because had Southeastern beat Brownsburg last Friday, they would be co-champs in the HCC this season. But that is not the case, as Zionsville finished with the regular season championship. Meanwhile, Carmel finished with a record of 18-4. They are 4-1 in sectional play. And Guerin Catholic, again, that's not a school that played a lot of other people in the sectional, but they have a very respectable 14-9 record. This could be very, very interesting as we head into sectional play next week. The Royals will open up play Tuesday night against Fishers. That game will tip off at 7 o'clock, and that'll be the only sectional game played on Tuesday night. Wednesday we'll see a doubleheader. Carmel will take on Westfield in Game 1, while Guerin Catholic will take on Noblesville in Game 2. The Royals will then face the winner of Hamilton Southeastern versus Fisher will play Anderson, who drew a bye, the only team to get a bye in this sectional. Anderson had the worst record of any of the sectional teams. They won't have to play until the sectional semifinals on Friday night, and they'll play the winner of Hamilton Southeastern and Fishers. Meanwhile, the winner of Carmel Westfield and Guerin Catholic Noblesville will play in Game 2 Friday night, and that means the sectional championship game is, of course, on Saturday. Meanwhile, if we take a look at the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, the final standing saw Zionsville win the HCC title with a record of 5-1. Southeastern tied for second with Brownsburg at 4-2. Avon finished 3-3, as did Fishers. Noblesville finished 2-4, and only the Westfield Shamrocks came away without a win in HCC competition. They were 0-6. Taking a look at scores from as we go back to last week, of course, the Royals fell to the Bulldogs 61-54. Avon beat Noblesville 53-46. Fishers beat Zionsville in overtime 69-60, and Newcastle knocked off Westfield 85-77 in overtime. On Saturday, Avon beat Greenfield Central 77-60. Hamilton Heights over Noblesville 47-45, and Kokomo beat Westfield 55-46. This is the final week of the regular season. On Tuesday, Brownsburg fell to Center Grove 67-56. Kokomo knocked off Fishers 53-50. Mount Vernon defeated Westfield 70-53, and Zionsville beat Indianapolis Lighthouse 75-48. Avon beat Martinsville last night 77-45. Tonight is the Royals and the Wildcats, and then the season wraps up with Fishers at Warren Central tomorrow night, Lebanon at Noblesville on Friday, and then sectional play begins next week among HCC teams. Zionsville will take on Harrison. Fishers, of course, will take on the Royals. Brownsburg will take on Terre Haute North, and Terre Haute South will take on Avon, and that's what the sectionals look like. Both teams are making their way back out. Let's give you our halftime stats as we get ready for the second half. For the visiting Lawrence North Wildcats, Kevin Easley has game-high honors. He has 18 points for the Wildcats. They have 5 points from Anton Cushingberry, 4 points from Rock Capetti, 3 points from Dexter Schaus, 2 points from Mike Saunders, and it was Jared Hankins, J.P. Carroll, and Dalen Davis playing but not scoring. For Hamilton Southeastern, Zach Gunn leads the Royals with 14 points, Connor Rotterman with 11, 12 points from Jack Davidson, all from behind the arc, 5 points from Aaron Etherington, 3 points from Chaz Birchfield, 2 points from Noah Smith, and then it was Jack Habiger, Austin Holtzum, Aaron Shank, Jaron Bond, and Zach Muncher playing. They did not score. The Royals 4 or 5 from the line in that first half. Meanwhile, the Wildcats were 5 of 8. The Wildcats hit 3 3-point baskets. Hamilton Southeastern hit 9 3-point baskets in that first half. And that's where we stand as we get ready for second half action with the Royals leading by 15 at 47-32 as we get ready to play. So we're ready for second half action, and it is the green-clad Lawrence North Wildcats that have the basketball. And it'll be Antoine Cushionberry, Mike Saunders. This is Kevin Easley with the basketball, joined by Rock Capetti. Easley's shot over gun is no good. And as Noah Smith is getting the rebound, we're going to have a whistle and a foul. And the foul's going to go against Southeastern. And they're going to get Zach Muchner, who begins the second half. For the Royals, it is Jack Davidson, Noah Smith, Zach Gunn, Zach Muchner, and Connor Rotterman on the floor. Royals up by 15, 47-32, 7:40 left to play in the third quarter, just underway, second half. The Wildcats got it down to within 3 in the second quarter, only to watch the Royals go on another three-point shooting barrage. That three goes halfway down, comes back out, but Easley with the rebound. His putback's no good. Muchner with a rebound. Here's Rotterman, right side. Davison drives baseline, throws up the shot, won't get the bucket, but he's going to earn a trip to the free throw line. First foul against the Wildcats here in the second half, and it's going to be called against Antoine Cushingberry. That's his first. And Jack Davidson at the line shooting a pair, and he hits the first. Davidson with now 13 points. He had 12 points in the first half, all of them from beyond the arc. And Davidson hits both free throws, and he leads the Royals by far in free throw shooting, 92% from the line this season. And that makes it a 49-32 game with 7:11 left to go in the third. As the Royals have the basketball, or the Wildcats have the basketball, the Royals drop into a 2-3 zone. Kick ball as Cushingberry was tried to send it right side over to Saunders, and kicked by Davidson, and they will inbound the basketball once again. Cushingberry looking to get it to Capetti. He works against Muchner, reverses his layup, and he'll get it to drop. Capetti with 6 points as he works around Muchner, but here's Gunn. He comes the other way and just floats through the lane, lays it up with a right hand, and he now has 16. 51-34, 6:26 left to play third quarter as Schaus drives. Basket will not count. Foul occurred on the floor, blocking foul. And Connor Rotterman will be hit with his first personal. So the Wildcats, Capetti, they send it around to Saunders. Saunders back up top to Schaus. They get it to Cushingberry, who finds Easley underneath, and Easley will get the easy basket himself. He leads all scorers with 21 points. And it's a 51-36 Southeastern lead with 6 minutes left to play third quarter. Here's Noah Smith. He drives left side of the lane and with left hand lay in. Noah Smith gets his 4 points. To push it back to a 17-point advantage for Hamilton Southeastern with 5:43 left to go in the third. Royals have been going very much into this 2-3. Easley's been getting his points as the drive right side is no good by Cushingberry, and we're going to have another foul called against Southeastern. This will be their third team foul, and the second one against Jack Davidson. Antoine Cushingberry at the line. The Wildcats were 5 of 8 from the free throw line in the first half. Cushingberry had 5 points in the first half. This is his first free throw attempt, so he made the first. Davidson will depart. Austin Holtzum in for Coach Brian Satterfield, and Cushingberry with one more free throw on the way. That one's too long, tipped out, but getting the rebound on the tip is Cushingberry. He sends it out easily for 3. That one's off and into the hands of Rotterman. Rotterman finds Gunn, but poked away, and as the ball was poked away, Easley to Holtzum. Easley ran into Holtzum and sent Holtzum to the deck. Good sportsmanship as Kevin Easley helps Austin up. But Easley will be hit with his second personal and the second team foul for the Wildcats. (53-37), that's our score as once again Jared Hankins back in. They go underneath and the ball hits basically Holtzum in the face. Bounce pass underneath and finishing it off as Schaus on the nice feed, and he's going to have a chance for the and one. As Connor Rotterman's going to be hit with his second, but more importantly, the Royals racking up fouls early in this second half. That's their fourth team foul. And Schaus will try to convert the three-point play, which he does. He has 6 points. Aaron Etherington will come in. He'll come in for Zach Muchner. A 13-point lead for Southeastern, 53-40, 4:56 remains in this third quarter of play as Rotterman gets the inbound. Some pressure applied by the Wildcats, and Rotterman into the front court. Connor with the basketball, leaves it to Etherington. He finds Zach. Zach underneath, gets the bucket, and one. Gunn with 18 points. He'll try to make it 19. Foul's going to be called against Kevin Easley. That's his third team foul against the Wildcats, and Gunn at the free throw line. He has 18 points. He's 1 of 1 from the free throw line. And that one, though, rims out into the hands of Capetti. He'll send it right side to Cushionberry. 55-40, a 15-point lead. Here's a steal by Etherington. Can't hold on to it, but there's Holtzum. It's going to be knocked out of bounds by Schaus as he tried to poke it away from Austin, but the Royals pilfer the basketball, and they'll have it in the front court with Connor Rotterman triggering the inbounds in front of us from the sideline. Looks, and he'll throw it into the backcourt to Noah Smith, who will retreat and bring it back across the timeline for Hamilton Southeastern, up by 15. 4:23 left to play here in the third quarter. Here is Zach Gunn to Aaron Etherington. Nice find. Etherington was 7. The lead is 17. And we're going to have a timeout called by Wildcat head coach Jack Kiefer. They have 2 remaining for the rest of this contest. And the Royals lead by 17. Quite a turnaround from about early in the second quarter, about midway through the second quarter, when the Wildcats were able to take the deficit to a single possession at 3 points, but then the Royals went on a 3-point barrage there in the second quarter. They led by 15 at the half, and with 4:09 left to play in the third quarter, they lead by 17. I'm Brian Scott. So glad you joined me for the regular season finale of Hamilton Southeastern basketball on Audio Sports Online. Senior night, and Coach Brian Satterfield started all 5 seniors, and all the seniors have played tonight. And before this night is done, we probably are going to see a few other players make an appearance in the home finale. Royals will be playing Tuesday night in Carmel to begin the Carmel sectional against the Fisher Tigers. Mudsock Battle 2 of the season, though not officially. But if it's anything like the game that was played in December, we're in for a treat. Out of the timeout, Austin Holtzum joins Noah Smith, Connor Rodman, Aaron Etherington, and Zach Gunn. It is Kevin Easley joining Jared Hankins, Rock Capetti. This is Antoine Cushingberry with the basketball, and Dexter Schaus. Schaus back to Cushingberry as the Royals go to a 2-3 zone. Schaus, they swing it left side to Hankins. They're trying to set up Capetti underneath, but they're using Gunn in the middle of that zone down on the blow blocks. Capetti loses the basketball, managed to pick it up, sends it out. Schaus for 3, top of the key, he hits it. 10 points for Schaus. That's his second three-point basket of the contest. And it's down to a 57-43, but coming away is Hankins. He will take it, lay it up, and lay it in. Jared Hankins with his first points. And it's down to a 12-point Southeastern lead, 57-45. 3:20 left to go in the third. Holtzum trying to get it to Gunn. They do find Zach. Zach, great job of hanging on to the basketball after the Noah Smith feed. Zach almost lost it, managed to gather himself back up and put it in. He now has 20 points, and he's tied with Kevin Easley for game-high honors at this point as we go under 3 minutes. Here's a steal. Noah Smith with the basketball. Almost had it poked away, hung in the air, just kind of hesitated, let the defender come by him and put it up and in. Smith has 6, and the lead's back to 16 with 2:43 left to go in the third. So every time the Wildcats show a little bit of life and a little bit of run, the Royals answer it. Spinning and now sending it out. Cushingberry fakes the 3. Now he will float it, left it well short. Fortunately, into the hands of Easley, blocked by Gunn, but has managed to stick with it, and Kevin Easley gets the bucket. But all the way back, Aaron Etherington outran everybody back, and the nice outlet pass finds Etherington underneath the basket. He has 9. 63-47, 2:06 left to play, third quarter. And here's a steal as Holtzum poked it away. Rodderman to Etherington, and they finish it off. Good ball movement, good pilfer, and unselfish basketball leads to the bucket, and the Royals are now up by 18 at 65-47. Easley makes a move, and the basket will not count. They'll say the foul occurred on the floor. And it'll go against Gunn, his second. And the 15th foul. Noah Smith, Cotter Rodderman depart. Jack Davidson, Jaron Bond back in for Coach Brian Satterfield. 1:40 left to go, third quarter. Royals lead 65-47. Hankins sends it back up top to Schaus. Schaus left side to J.P. Carroll, who's now into the game. He's joined by Dalen Davis for Coach Jack Kiefer. Driving is Schaus. He just kind of forces his way through the Royals defense and ends up with the bucket. He now has 11. 65-49, 1:10 remaining in the third. Here's Jaron Bond, drives baseline, and as he goes up, he's going to be fouled. J.P. Carroll with his first foul, and Jaron Bond to the free throw line for the first time this season. Jaron makes the first free throw. So Jaron had to wait to the regular season finale before he got a chance for a free throw, and he converts. As Aaron Etherington departs, Chaz Birchfield comes in, and Jaron with the second free throw. He makes them both. He has 2 points. And the lead's back up to 18 at 67-49 with 1:08 remaining in the third. Quickly up to the court. Davis, he tries to feed down low to Rock Capetti, but they're going to get Birchfield with either a reach in or kind of a holding of Capetti. And Birchfield will have his second, 6th team foul. So the next foul by Hamilton Southeastern is going to put the Wildcats in the bonus for the remainder of this game. And they'll outlet to Saunders and send it right side to Cushingberry. Or excuse me, that is J.P. Carroll. Back to Hankins, who evidently had a little bit of a bloody nose. He's got his nose packed, and he'll launch the three. He'll be short. Rebounded by Zach Gunn. Gunn, he finds Bond. Under a minute left to play, 38 seconds to be precise. Davidson had some space. Instead, he'll drive, send it out to Bond as the Royals want to play for the final shot of the quarter, up by 18. Bond will retreat to the corner as we are now down to 20 seconds. Davidson gets around a Gunn screen, drives, and just lays it up and will not get it to drop. Gunn with a rebound. He'll send it out to Bond. Bond drives right side, lays it up. That won't drop. Capetti with a rebound and a whistle and a foul with 3.3 seconds. And Brian Satterfield not happy with that at all because that is the 7th team foul. And with 3.3 seconds, we're going to head to the other end of the court where the 1-and-1 will be in effect. Foul went against Jaron Bond, his first. I'm sure Coach Satterfield would have been happy just to let Capetti take the rebound with time running out and launch a desperation shot. Now Capetti's at the line with a 1-and-1, and he hits the first. Makes it 67-50. And makes it 67-51. 3.3 seconds remain. Here's Holtzum with 2, with 1. He'll launch. It counts and it goes. And it doesn't fall, and that's the end of the third quarter. Southeastern led by 15 at the end of the first half. And as we head to the fourth quarter, Royals lead by 16, 67-51. Back with the fourth quarter after this is Royal basketball and ASL. We're ready for fourth quarter action from Hamilton Southeastern. I'm Brian Scott. Thanks for joining me for Royals basketball on the regular season finale. Southeastern leads by 16 at 67-51. Zach Gunn leads Hamilton Southeastern with 20 points, 13 from Connor Rodman, 9 from Aaron Etherington. And leading all scorers with 22 is Kevin Easley for Lawrence North. 11 points from Dexter Schaus. Here's a nice find, and the shot's no good by Davidson, poked away, but the Royals retain possession. Holtzum found Davidson. Davidson left that shot short, which allowed Easley to go and bring it down, but he couldn't hang on to it, and Southeastern came away with the basketball. It is Aaron Shank, Connor Rodderman, Austin Holtzum, Chaz Birchfield, and Jack Davidson on the court for Brian Satterfield. Here's Aaron Shank, tries to flip it up. It won't go. Jared Hankins brings it back. He leaves it up for Mike Saunders, and Saunders is going to be fouled. It is J.P. Carroll, Dalen Davis, Kevin Easley, as Davidson is hit with his third foul and the 8th team foul. And Mike Saunders will shoot a pair. He has 4 points. And that one's no good. Zach Gunn checking back in. And he will come in for Chaz Birchfield. Saunders with one more free throw. The second free throw is good. The Wildcats are 10 of 15 from the free throw line in this game. Meanwhile, Southeastern is 8 of 9. 67-52. We've played almost a minute of this final quarter as Davidson finds Connor Rotterman. Rotterman with 13 points. Davidson in the lane, lays it up and gets the bucket. 16 points for Jack Davidson. And the lead 69-52, 6:43 left. As Dalen Davis will send it left side to Saunders. Royals have stayed in this 2-3 zone, and they've been doing a pretty good job with it. They are switching off as well. As this three is no good, and as Gunn goes up for the rebound, they're going to call a foul, and I believe it's going to be called against Zach. Now they're going to get Aaron Shank. For Aaron, his first, but it is the 9th team foul, and now substitutions as Dexter Schaus, Rockapetti, and Antoine Cushenberry come back into the lineup for Coach Jack Kiefer. 1-1 in effect as Kevin Easley hits the first. Noah Smith also comes in for Coach Brian Satterfield, placing Austin Holtzum. And Easley, who's had himself a night, 23 points. He can make it 24 with a free throw here. He missed it, and Rotterman has the rebound. But so far, he's been the only points, really, that Coach Jack Kiefer's been able to rely on as Rotterman is fouled on his way to the hoop, but they'll call a foul on the floor. 15 foul, and it's second personal against Dexter Schaus. Davidson looking to inbound. He finds Rotterman on the curl. 3 from the corner. That's a little short. Weak side rebound. Here's Noah Smith coming out of nowhere. He saw Connor Rotterman driving and tried to throw it out to Connor. Fortunately for Hamilton Southeastern, the ball was kicked. So they'll keep possession of the basketball. 6:10 remains. 69-53 Southeastern. Here's Shank on the inbound to Rotterman. They swing it to Smith. Smith to Davidson. Back to Noah. Left side. Here's Rotterman. 3 on the way. That's good. Connor Rotterman has 16 points. It's his second three-point basket. The lead's 19 for Southeastern at 72-53. Dribbling is Cushenberry and tied up as Cushenberry went straight into Connor Rotterman and might have got Connor a little low. The held ball means the possession arrow favors the Wildcats. As a matter of fact, Connor's going to go take a seat, and Austin Holtzum's going to come in as he is going to arrest that. Here's a steal. Smith to Davidson. Davidson right side. Here's Holtzum. He loads up for the 3. And Austin Holtzum nails the 3, and Coach Jack Kiefer calls the timeout. He'll have 1 remaining, and Southeastern leads by 22, 75-53 with 5:37 left to play in the fourth quarter. I'm Brian Scott. A way to go out for these seniors, and they have been draining threes precipitously all night long. Hamilton Southeastern has now hit 11 three-point baskets in this contest. They had 9 in the first half. They didn't hit a single 3 in the third, but they've hit 2 in the fourth. And they have pushed the lead to 22 at 75-53. As we said at the top of the game, how Southeastern goes shooting-wise, when they're on, few people can keep up with them. And as we saw last Friday night against Brownsburg, when the Royals are off, and we can count a few of those games, the losses to the likes of Warren Central and North Central against two of the top teams in the state. But when the Royals were off against the Bulldogs of Columbus North, that cost them a game there. As the Wildcats inbound the basketball, trailing by 22. And again, Coach Jack Kiefer with only one timeout remaining. Here's a three by Easley, and he drains it. And if it wasn't for Kevin Easley, this would be a much bigger blowout than the 19 point. Now here's a steal. Here's Easley the other way, and he will lay it up and lay it in. And quickly, Easley with 5 points. As the pressure now comes for, and another steal. Cushingberry works against Gunn, and Gunn's going to be hit with a foul, his third, and the 10th team foul. So that's almost that timeout. This could be a 7-point swing after this timeout if he can hit both free throws. Cushingberry hits the first. As Rotterman is coming back in, and now Brian Satterfield's going to call a timeout. He'll call a full timeout with 5:06 remaining. Coach Jack Kiefer called the timeout. They got a 3 out of the timeout from Easley. Then they got a steal and a bucket by Easley, and now another steal and a foul, and Cushionberry makes the first. So that's a 6-point swing with the possibility of turning it into a 7-point swing. But for Hamilton Southeastern, it's still a 16-point advantage, but 5:06 remains. The foul was the 10th team foul against the Royals, so the Wildcats will be shooting the double bonus for the remainder of this contest. Meanwhile, the Wildcats have only committed 5 team fouls, so they can afford to get a little aggressive, especially on some of these presses in the backcourt, as they have a foul to give still. Out of the timeout, it'll be Austin Holson, Connor Rotterman, Jack Davidson, Noah Smith, and Zach Gunn for Coach Brian Satterfield. The Royals still with 3 timeouts remaining, 2 30s and a full. 75-59, 5:06 remain. And Cushingberry, who hit the first, he now has 7 points. And again, if he hits this free throw, it's a 7-point swing. And a lane violation will wipe that one out. And he made it. So big one there is no free throw, a lane violation. But it is a 6-point swing for the Wildcats out of that one timeout. Here's Noah Smith. He finds Davidson. Davidson to Rotterman. Rotterman chases it down and can't get his hands on it. Davidson led him a little too much, and Connor tried to save it but was unable to do so. And the turnover gives the ball back to the Wildcats, who again are on this 6-0 run. Right side to Cushingberry. And now they try to find down low Kevin Easley, and it goes off of his hands. And that turnover will give the ball back to the Royals. 75-59, Southeastern with the lead. They've watched the Wildcats run off 6 straight. As Smith gets the basketball. And he'll get into the front court, almost lose it, but a whistle will stop play and a foul. That's the 6th foul against the Wildcats. And the second against Antoine Cushingberry. Austin Holtzum lobs it to Rotterman in the backcourt, who's picked up by Dexter Schaus. And Connor gets it across the timeline with 4:40 remaining in the fourth, 75-59. Double team, and he lobs it over to Gunn. Gunn finds Noah Smith all alone, and Noah finishes it off. Wildcats were looking to trap whenever possible, but that left Smith alone. Gunn finds him. Here's a 3 on its way, and that is drained by Dexter Schaus. 14 points for Schaus as Rotterman gets the inbound. The Royals have numbers here, and now a reach in by Antoine Cushingberry, and that'll be the 7th team foul against the Wildcats. So the 1-and-1 is now in effect for Hamilton Southeastern. And Connor Rotterman is at the free throw line. Connor has 16 points, and he's 2 of 2 from the free throw line as the Royals clear out the lane. And Connor drains the first free throw. He'll get the bonus. Aaron Etherington will come in. He'll replace Jack Davidson against. Etherington missed the last 2 games, the one against Brownsburg and the one against Pike, due to illness. He missed almost a week of school as Connor drains both free throws. So this is his first action in well over a week. He played in the Carmel game and, from understanding, was pretty ill during that. Here's a steal by Smith, but he can't hold on to the basketball. And it will stay with the Wildcats with 4:07 remaining in the fourth. Southeastern leads 79-62. They'll feed right side, and this one's pilfered away by Noah Smith. He gets the basketball, and a timeout called by Brian Satterfield after Smith was able to steal the basketball away from Mike Saunders. And it will be a 30-second timeout called by the Royals with 3:59 left to go. 79-62 our score. I'm Brian Scott. It's the season finale of Royals basketball. Sectionals begin Tuesday. We'll be in Carmel with a tip-off between the Royals and the Fishers Tigers as the IHSAA basketball tournament gets underway. We'll have all the action for you. Again, due to IHSAA regulations, we are not allowed to provide video for that game. We will have audio, however. You can catch all the action on Audio Sports Online. Should be online with the pregame show at around, I'd say 6:50. And the tip-off is scheduled for 7 o'clock. It is the only game that night in the sectionals. So the Royals and the Tigers will have it all to themselves as Holtzum gets it into Rotterman, and it's knocked out of bounds, and it will remain in possession of Southeastern. And now Holtzum will inbound in front of the Wildcat bench and find Etherington, who kind of snuck in, and now the ball loose because Holtzum got knocked down and easily was able to come in and get the bucket. The pass was going to Holtzum, but he got knocked down. No foul, and now here's the Royals the other way. Smith drives, lays it off the glass. No good. Capetti with a rebound. He leaves it for Hankins. Hankins in the lane, tied up, and a good job there by Connor Rotterman to tie up Hankins. The possession arrow favors the Royals. So some good defense there by Connor Rotterman. He tied up Hankins on his trip to the hoop. And the possession arrow will favor Southeastern. 79-64. 3:33 remains in this basketball game as I said Hankins. It was Schaus that was driving. It's Hankins that's entering the contest for Saunders. Gunn looking, and it's pilfered away on the steal. Cushingberry leaves it for Easley, and Easley gets the bucket. 79-64. Now Davidson's going to be fouled by Hankins. So we're seeing, again, defensive pressure. 8th team foul by the Wildcats, and they'll send the Royals' best free throw shooter to the line. One and one in effect as Davidson hits the first. He'll get the bonus. For the Wildcats as Davidson hits both free throws. As he now has 18 points, 81-66. Again, it's Easley with 32 points. He's what's kept the Wildcats at least within striking distance. And now Jared Hankins hits a three to make it 81-69. But the Wildcats can't get back. Connor Rotterman races everybody back, and he ends up with the bucket. As Rotterman now with 20 points. He joins Zach Gunn with 20. That three, that's off. Gunn with a rebound for Southeastern. And he'll get it to Rotterman, who will slow it down as the Royals lead 83-69 with 2:50 left to go. He'll find Gunn, top of the key. Gunn drives, left-hand floater is up and good. 22 points for Gunn. 85-69, 2:37. Here's a three by Easley, and Easley misses it, but he's going to go to the free throw line with 3 on the foul by Aaron Etherington. It's Aaron's first, but as I mentioned, we're going to see Easley go to the line shooting 3. And he misses the first. That is 3 of 5 now for Easley from the charity stripe tonight. And he missed the second. He'll have one more. So while he has 32 points, the charity stripe has not been his most favorite place to be tonight. He sank 1 of 3. And we'll see J.P. Carroll come in for Rock Capetti. 2:35 remains. Royals with a 15-point lead, 85-70. As Rotterman looking to get the ball inbounds, and he'll call the timeout. Likely a 30-second timeout. And that'll leave Southeastern with 1 timeout remaining. So both the Wildcats and the Royals with 1 timeout remaining, they are full timeouts. As Southeastern leads by 15 with 2:35 left to go in this basketball game. I'm Brian Scott. 85-70, that's our score. Royals, their story tonight, they have been raining threes and for the most part hitting free throws, though we've seen the Wildcats kind of run into some stretches here where they have rallied. Kevin Easley has been the story for Lawrence North. He has 33 points for the Wildcats, who are already past their season average tonight. They average 61 points per game. They have scored 70, while Southeastern comes in averaging about 72 points per game. They have scored 85. Still 2:35 left to go, and now a foul before the inbounds against the Wildcats. We're going to go to the other end and shoot free throws. And Cushingberry will be hit with his 4th as he was caught holding, and they're going to send Connor Rotterman to the line. Rotterman is 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and he has 20 points. Birchfield comes in for Davidson, and Rotterman at the line with a 1-and-1 still in effect, though that was the 9th team foul by the Wildcats. And Connor gets the first. Capetti back in for Carroll as the lead's up to 16 is Rotterman with his 21st point, and he can pick up number 22 with this free throw, which he does. He sinks them both as Rotterman departs. Holtzum comes in. A 17-point lead for the Royals, 87-70. 2:35 remains in this fourth quarter, as Cushionberry will pick the ball up and bring it into the front court. Back to the 2-3 zone. It's been popular tonight for the Royals. They've done a good job with it. They'll send it out. Here's a 3 on the way by Schaus. No good. Easley with a rebound and the putback. And Easley up to 35, and the Royals can't pull the trigger on the outlet pass as it's over the head of Aaron Etherington. Still a 15-point lead. Time running out for the Wildcats. 2:15 remains. As Cushingberry has to pick the basketball up. And he'll give it to Schaus. Back to Cushingberry. Right side to Hankins. Looking to feed Capetti. They feed it down low, and as Capetti gets the basketball on the entry pass, a whistle will stop play, and a foul is going to be called, I believe, on Zach Gunn. And that's his 4th. And the double bonus is in effect, so Capetti is at the line shooting 2. Capetti has 8 points. He is 4 of 7 from the free throw line, but he makes that one. Connor Rotterman, Jack Davidson entering the lineup for Brian Satterfield for Chaz Birchfield and Austin Holtzum. 2:03 remain, 87-73, and Capetti with one more free throw due. He has 9 points. He can get double figures with this, which he does. Now Capetti will depart, and Carroll will come in. It's 87-74, both teams substituting as they get the ball to Noah Smith, who has it poked away, and the Wildcats come away with it. They launch the three, shot no good. Smith skies for the rebound, but the Wildcats come away with it. Driving is Hankins, and he will get the bucket. Or excuse me, they'll credit it is Cushingberry with the bucket. And a whistle as the ball went out of bounds off of the Wildcats. So Gunn looking. He gets it to Davidson. Davidson into the front court. Leaves it up for Etherington and threw it. Etherington couldn't get it and bring it down. And Brian Satterfield saying that is not what we needed at this point in time. An alley-oop. Even though there is a minute 41 remaining in this basketball game, he was looking for a little bit better ball security than that. As Holtzum is going to race up and force Cushingberry to pick it up as Schaus gets it right side back to Cushingberry. A minute 36, it's now an 11-point game. They get it down to Capetti. He loses the basketball, gets it back and puts it in, and all of a sudden it's down to 9. And that was what made Brian Satterfield so upset. As now we have another steal, but stepping on the sideline was Dexter Schaus. So what looked like a comfortable lead just a few minutes ago has been cut to a 9-point lead for Southeastern. Davidson back in. He'll come in this time for Etherington. 87-78, a minute 18 remains. As they get it to Noah Smith, who'll give it to Jack Davidson. Davidson left side to Roderman. Roderman back to Davidson. They try to trap. Next foul by the Wildcats will be the double bonus for the Royals. Gunn with the basketball, and he'll find Davidson as we now are under a minute left to play, and now Easley is going to be hit with a reach-in foul. That's his fourth and the 10th team foul against the Wildcats. And again, they put the best free throw shooter on the team for Hamilton Southeastern, Jack Davidson, on the line. Jack is 4 of 4. And that free throw rolls around, and as Davidson bends back, it drops. Davidson now with 19 points, and he can make it 20 points. He'd be the third Royal with 20. He sinks that one as well. He joins Connor Roderman with 22 and Zach Gunn with 22. It's an 89-78 lead, 11 points, 50 seconds remaining as Dexter Schaus drives to the hoop. He's going to be fouled. And while he won't get the bucket, he's going to have a chance to put some points on the scoreboard with the clock stopped. The foul is sent Zach Gunn. That's his fifth, and Zach Gunn is done. He will leave the basketball game with 22 points in his final home game, and Aaron Etherington will come in. So Gunn finishes with 22 points, and Dexter Schaus is at the line shooting a pair. And it's an 11-point Southeastern lead with 49.2 seconds, and Schaus missed the first one. He'll have one more free throw, and he missed that one as well. But Hankins gets the rebound. He lays it up. He misses it, and Etherington comes away with a rebound. He gives it to Holtzum, and he'll race everybody to the other end and simply lay it up and in. Holtzum makes it a 13-point game, 91-78, 30 seconds remain. Left side, this is Schaus. They'll just let him drive on by and get the bucket and not commit the foul. Roderman gets the inbound, and he's immediately fouled, so we'll head to the other end of the court as the double bonus is in effect. And it's against Antoine Cushingberry. That's his fifth. So Cushingberry will foul out, and he leaves with 9 points. Zach Muchner, Jack Habig are back in as both Noah Smith and Aaron Etherington depart. Aaron Shank's going to come in, and Brian Satterfield is going to try to finish this game with as many seniors on the court. As a matter of fact, he has loaded the court with seniors. He's got Connor Rotterman, Austin Holtzman, Jack Habiger, Aaron Shank, and Zach Muchner as Rotterman sinks the free throw. Connor has just been on fire tonight, and he's doing it on both ends and also from the free throw line. He is 8 of 8 from the free throw line. 93-80, 3-point game. 3 on the way. That is up, and that is good by Jared Hankins. And that makes it a 10-point game, but only 12.4 seconds remain, and the Wildcats will use their final timeout. Connor Rotterman with 24 points. Again, 8 of 8 from the free throw line, and he has a pair of threes to pad that stat column even further. Meanwhile, for the Wildcats, if not for Kevin Easley's 35 points, this would be not even as close as a 10-point game, as he has really put the Wildcats on his back tonight and kept them at least at times seemingly within striking distance, but each time the Royals seemingly have an answer as well, and that answer here in the fourth quarter has been from the free throw line. Southeastern is 10 of 10 from the charity stripe so far, and on the game they are 18 of 19, so they have really done well from the charity stripe, and that's been a strength for the Royals all season long. 12.4 seconds remain, a 10-point game. Holtzman looking, he finds Rotterman. Rotterman, they just elect to trap, they don't foul, as Rotterman gets it to Muchner, back to Rotterman, and they're going to let the final seconds tick off as they get it to Habiger, and Habiger will get it to Holtzman. They won't foul it. And the Hamilton Southeastern Royals wrap things up on senior night with an impressive 93-83 win over the Wildcats of Lawrence North. We'll be back in just a few minutes with final stats as Royals basketball on ASO. Welcome back to Hamilton Southeastern. The regular season finale is a winner for the Royals as they knocked off the Wildcats of Lawrence North by the score of 93-83. I'm Brian Scott. Thanks for joining me tonight. Let's give you our final stats. Hamilton Southeastern got off to a good start and pretty much managed to stay out in front the entire game, even though the Wildcats, during a couple of stretches, tried to make things interesting, especially in that second quarter when they managed to take the deficit all the way down to 3. But then the Royals, behind some fantastic shooting on the night from the likes of Connor Rotterman, Zach Gunn, and Jack Davidson, and some fantastic three-point shooting as the Royals hit 12 three-point shots on the night. They managed to take that three-point lead and stretch it out to 15 at the break. They led by 16 after the end of 3. The Wildcats, they made it interesting in the fourth quarter as they outscored Southeastern 32-26, but it wasn't enough as the Royals had built the big lead and they hang on to win 93-83. Let's give you our final stats for tonight's game. Leading all scorers was Lawrence North's Kevin Easley. He scored 35 points to pace the Wildcats, 16 points from Dexter Schaus, 12 points, from Rock Capetti, 9 points from Antoine Cushingberry before he fouled out, 8 points from Jared Hankins, 3 points from Mike Saunders. Both J.P. Carroll and Dalen Davis played. They did not score. Lawrence North finished the game 15 of 25 from the free throw line, and they hit 8 3-point baskets of their own. For Hamilton Southeastern, leading the Royals with 24 points was Connor Rotterman. Zach Gunn had 22 points before he fouled out, 20 points from Jack Davidson as the Royals have a trio of players score over 20 points. 9 points from Aaron Etherington, 8 points from Noah Smith, 5 points from Austin Holsom, 3 points from Chaz Birchfield. Jack Habiger, Aaron Shank, and Zach Muchner played. They did not score. The Royals, besides shooting the lights out from beyond the arc, they were lights out from the charity stripe. 18 of 19 from the free throw line tonight, and they win this game by 10. They were ahead 24-19 after the end of the first quarter. They led 47-32 at the break, 67-51 after the end of 3, and they finished the game with a 10-point lead, winning 93-83. For the Royals, that win makes their regular season record 19-5. For the Lawrence North Wildcats, their loss drops them to 15-9 on the season. Next up, sectional action. The IHSAA basketball tournament begins on Monday. The Royals will play in the Carmel sectional, and they will open against longtime rival, the Fishers Tigers. We'll have all the action for you on Audio Sports Online. The pregame show will begin around 6:50. The tip-off is scheduled for 7 o'clock between the Royals and the Tigers. Once again, due to IHSAA regulations, we will not be allowed to bring you video for that game. However, we will have audio, and yours truly will be on the call. So the Royals begin their tourney journey on Tuesday, and we'll be with you all along the sectional route that hopefully culminates with a sectional championship on Saturday in Carmel. Once again, final score, the Royals defeat the Wildcats 93-83. This is Brian Scott saying thanks for joining me tonight and joining me throughout the season for Hamilton Southeastern basketball. We'll see you Tuesday night from Carmel as the Royals begin the second season in Hoosier Hysteria. Until then, so long, everybody.